Let's start with this story breaking in the last hour, and it is the Eastern Cape Police confirming that the chief of Mthatha West, Dalinzolo Mareke, was killed in a shootout with police this afternoon. Last week, you'll recall that Mareke denied allegations of extortion at a school in his community. That conversation happened on this channel. Let's remind you now that on the back of this story, we are going to speak to the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa. We'll speak to Zolani Mkiva as soon as he is available. The police, the understanding is that they themselves are still putting together a statement to tell us exactly the circumstances under which this incident occurred. My understanding is that Contralesa may indeed be ready for us. Let's try and speak now to Mr. Zolani Mkiva. Mr. Mkiva, good evening to you, and thank you for your time. Are you aware of the developments around Chief Dalinzolo Mareke?
Thank you very much, my brother, and good evening to you as well as the viewers. We have just learned the news that Chief Mareke has been shot by police, but we don't have the details of the circumstances under which he was shot. We do know that his name was cited in this developing story around Mthatha on the extortion and the closing down of the business. The anarchy which has been ensuing around Mthatha, the OR Tambo district and the Eastern Cape. We hear this, that he was involved, and His Majesty King Bieleka Dalindyebo has even mentioned his name to the extent that he disowned him. He did say that he was not aware on the circumstances under which he was appointed into that position, and that he was also involved, or his name was being mentioned in the alleged, criminality, which include extortion amongst other things. So we have just learned this evening, and we are still gathering the facts and try to get the details. But it's been confirmed, though, that the police around the OR Tambo district in the Eastern Cape did confirm that indeed he was shot and killed.
Yeah. How much do you, as the traditional community, know about these activities of extortion, and how deep was his involvement in this?
We may not necessarily know about his personal involvement, except that we are aware that his name has been mentioned on a series of events. Insofar as the entrenchment of extortions in Mthatha and the brutality which was happening in the Mthatha and the district and certain parts of the Eastern Cape province. This has been happening for a while now. I am personally aware of some cases of the people that I know personally who have been victims of these circumstances. And many people in our communities have been living in fear, to the extent that some inhabitants of Mthatha could not even spend their nights in their homes because of the fear of the brutality of the criminals that are involved in this. We are happy that the police are acting with speed and moving swiftly to sweep anything that is similar to what is called extortionists. Yeah. So we are happy with that. The police are really now hitting the ground running, because it can't happen that in a country with a rule of law, you can have such amount of lawlessness to the extent that the thugs are actually in charge of the community, that it has become a norm that certain people have been paying, these protection fees for not months, but for years.
Yeah.
So I think the high cost clampdown is really justified, and we expect police to do more to uproot anything that is linked to this extortion.
Finally, Mr. Mkiva, there appears to be some disquiet about Chief Mareke's legitimacy as a traditional leader. Earlier you said that the king of the Tembu nation, King Chief Dalinzolo, quote-unquote, disowned him. Does that mean that at the time of his death, he was still seen as a chief?
Yeah, we would want because all traditional leaders are on the PESAL, which is a government system, which includes recognition. So recognition does not only end with the recognition of the community, but government must actually put a stamp which is signed off by the senior traditional leader, who is the chair of the traditional council and authority of the area. And that particular stamp is supposed, under normal circumstances, to be countersigned by a king of that particular kingdom. So when a king says he is not even aware of the designation, appointment of this traditional leader, then the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs has a duty to confirm the legitimacy and the credibility of this traditional leader, because all traditional leaders are on the state role to the extent that for their service and for their responsibilities, including powers and functions, they are given a stipend on monthly basis. So COCTA is the registry of all traditional. They must confirm that, so that if something wrong or fraudulent might have happened on how he was appointed, to the extent that the office of His Majesty was overlooked or was sidestepped, then that issue can then be communicated. We've yet to hear about that. We are concerned ourselves that a king can bring into question the legitimacy of a headman of an area, because his status, as we know it, is not that of a senior traditional leader, which used to be called a chief. It is a status below that, which is a status of a headman. So we think then that if he was indeed in the books of the traditional institution, he should equally be in the books of COCTA. So COCTA officials in Bisho must really come and confirm that.